This is a mode of transport for all, and it's one that we have to get serious about. Physical inactivity in this country causes 2,500 deaths a year. Air pollution in Scotland, 2,500 deaths per year. We cannot simply stand by and do nothing. The budget for motorways and trunk roads this year, 2,365 million if I remember correctly. The budget for cycling, 39 point whatever million. We have to close that gap. I have not yet spoken at Headlong Parliament when the cycling element of the transport budget has reached 2%. That has to change. It has to change if the SNP government are going to deliver their vision, commendable vision, that 10% of all journeys in 2020 will be by bike. That is a vision I wholeheartedly support, but I want to see the resources, the capacity and the commitment to make sure that happens. I would like to congratulate those local authorities who are taking this agenda seriously. In Edinburgh we have that commitment, 10% of the transport budget. And when one local authority does that, others think, hey, this is the right thing to do. Glasgow are beginning to do the right thing too. Now, obviously, I represent Lothian, and we can't have Glasgow catching up with us, can we? So, let's continue to show that it can be done. Let's get out on our bikes. It would be nice if we were out there, not in spite of the challenges that cycling, it confronts us with, but because it's a pleasurable, safe and fun thing to do. I know many of you get that. Let's get out, spread the message, but the Scottish Greens will continue to campaign on this agenda. Our councillors are committed to this agenda, as are our parliamentarians. Let's go and make sure that Scotland knows that this is a country where more people want to get about on their bikes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alison.
Hey, if you're beside a bike bell, ring it now, let's hear them. That's fantastic. It's so important that you are heard in this building, in the city chambers of Edinburgh and in local authority chambers across this country, because we are here, our voices matter, and the issue that we are here to campaign for today is absolutely integral to our way of life, to our planet and to our health and our safety in our communities. These are our roads. We do not surrender them to the motorists. We are as important as anybody else. Now, I want to say a big thank you to my son Finn. He's 8 years old. This is the most he has ever cycled in one day. And haven't the kids done well, everyone? Let's hear it for the kids. Because this is as much about their future as it is about our today. We are living in a beautiful city. You are in a beautiful city. My son and his brother and sisters are growing up in a beautiful city. It should be geared up for cycling. Cycling should be a mecca sport, an activity and mode of transport, but it has over many years drifted back into obscurity with road conditions which will cost hundreds of millions of pounds to get right, with speeding traffic and cut-throughs and rat runs where the motorist is king. And yet again, we still have to put the preeminence of cycling back to the top of the agenda. And absolutely, we must understand that not only is the motoring bad for road safety, but I, in my constituency of West Edinburgh, have two of the most polluted streets in this country. And it is 2017, and we still have two of the most polluted streets in the country in my constituency. We have such a job of work to do. It is marches and protest demonstrations like this Headlong Parliament which will get the message back to decision makers and in opinion formers to ensure that we absolutely bring cycling back to the top of the firmament. Because as we've heard from Alison Johnson, I have to say it's great to stand here with Alison today. It's great to stand with politicians from all parties, because this should be a cross-party issue. This is about the health of our nation. We are still the 6th person of Europe in terms of our levels of heart attacks, obesity, cancer, and we know that for every £1 you invest in cycling, you get £5 back in health benefits for the nation. So this is not just an issue of whether we should spend money in cycling, it's why are we not spending money investing in cycling? Because it is absolutely important we have an integrated network of cycle paths, that we make crossings and road use safe for cyclists, so that my son Finn, his brother, his sister can absolutely enjoy the benefits of cycling, and with the confidence of his parents and other people in this town, know that their kids are safe to do so, because cycling is a right, it is a beautiful, joyous activity, and we should never be told that it is not important. So thank you so much for being here today. It is absolutely important we keep the message going. Join the Pedal on Parliament in Glasgow tomorrow. Get involved in the activity in the Festival of Cycling in June. And thank you so much for coming today. Thank you very much, Alex.
I agree with a lot of what the two previous speakers have said in terms of the investment that we need to continue to garner, and I think being entirely honest, I think our Scottish Government, and it's all of our Scottish Government, does need to put a little bit more into cycling to make sure that we can enable the kind of game-changing progress that we need to make, not just in Edinburgh but across the entire country. I'm proud, our job in Edinburgh, I think, is to make sure that every council across Scotland can make cycling easier for the reasons articulated by Alison in particular. I'm proud of the SNP record in Edinburgh, because in Edinburgh we've delivered for cyclists a whole host of policies that I think have met that agenda and tried to make it easier across our city. We've delivered a massive expansion in 20 miles an hour. It's made it easier not only for cyclists where infrastructure exists, but made it easier for cyclists and young people to feel more confident in their communities, the areas that they live, the areas they work, the areas they shop, to make sure that a street is not just seen as a car paradise, but is seen as a place where cyclists are safe and secure absolutely everywhere. We've delivered 10% of our transport budget in cycling. Edinburgh SNP will maintain that for the next 5 years, and we've delivered game-changing infrastructure projects like Leaf Walk, a £10 million scheme to massively improve cycling facilities and cycling infrastructure in the city, and the SNP has committed and agreed to supporting the East-West Cycleway in its most ambitious form that will transform West Edinburgh's commuter corridor to make sure more people can take cycling as their primary use of travel to work. In the next 5 years, we're guaranteed to, we're committed to maintaining our percentage of cycling budget, but it's not just the percentage, it's how much you're willing to spend. It's about tackling potholes, which are a slight threat to a car's suspension, but a massive threat of broken bones to a cyclist. So Edinburgh SNP are going to spend £100 million in the next council administration fixing Edinburgh's roads and pavements. We'll keep supporting projects that make a difference. It's not good enough to spend it on little things that will make minor differences. We need to spend it on game-changing infrastructure projects that will seriously change people's decision making and how they travel around our urban environment. I'm enormously proud to have been Edinburgh's cycling champion in the council for the last 3 years. We stand shoulder to shoulder and handlebar to handlebar with everyone here's agenda and trying to make cycling in our city much easier for people across Scotland. It takes political will, a lot of political will, and we've seen that in the controversy of some cycling projects across the country, and it also takes money to deliver the change that we need. I think in Edinburgh we're delivering both, and I think the political will exists at a national level to make sure that this agenda is taken seriously and put to the forefront of how we solve our transport issues. I hope the money follows very soon after. Please have a fantastic day. Make sure your vote counts. Make sure that you're voting for people in your local authority elections who not only support cycling but understand it and can actually affect and make change. Hopefully we elect a whole host of councillors, not just in Edinburgh, not just in Lothians, but across Scotland, who understand the issues and who understand that for them to make meaningful change, they're going to have to deliver political will, they're going to have to deliver financial support for the infrastructure, and they're going to have to take serious efforts to reform the way their council transport departments approach transport problems to make sure cycling is front and centre of the mix of solutions. Thank you very much. Please, if you vote for the SNP, that would be fantastic on May the 4th. If you vote for anyone, that would be even better, because turnout has to be as high as we can possibly make it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Next is the third time I've been to Pedal Parliament, so to come here and speak is an absolute pleasure, because I think it's such a fantastic event. But before saying more, I would just like to give my submit apologies on behalf of Kes Dugdale, who is a huge supporter of this event, but who is today paddling across the Forth. So while she might not be here, she's definitely participating in a form of active transport. I think we can all agree. But this is a fantastic event, because I think it allows us to appreciate what a fantastic city we live in. The fact that we could be here in the middle of a city, surrounded by buildings, but also with Arthur's Seat and Salisbury Crags, we live in a really special place. And I think also this event gives us a little glimpse about what kind of city we could have as well, because I always really enjoy it, because cycling in the streets where cyclists are taking over the streets to the exclusion of cars, and that wonderful feeling of what that's like is brilliant. But it is just a glimpse, because that's not the way things are normally. And that has to be what this agenda is about reclaiming roads, reclaiming streets, to make them about people, not about cars. And I think that's what the politics of today should be about, and that's what the agenda should be. Because I think we're at a very important point in time, because I think that change is coming. Over the last few months, in the last year or two, we've seen a much greater focus on the damage that diesel cars do, the damage that has on our health, and we see the steps that some cities are taking to curb those vehicles. In Paris, Mexico City, and more recently Sadiq Khan as Mayor of London introducing limitations on diesel cars. And we have to take those steps, but we also see the change that technology can bring, with the possibility of electric cars and decreasing car ownership, people using cars on demand, with the possibility of radically reducing the number of cars not just driving on our roads, but parked, doing nothing on our roads. And I keep looking around my constituency of Edinburgh Southern, seeing all the empty cars, doing nothing, sitting on the side of the road, and I think, well, what if they were cycle lanes? What if those spaces were given over to people? And I think that's the kind of vision, those are the kinds of things we need to start looking at as we move forward. Because I think one of the best things about today is it makes you realise the difference that this sort of event, this sort of activity can make. Because cycling and active transport is on the agenda. It is a commitment that we see politicians making, taking seriously, and it is good that the Scottish Government have committed that 10% of journeys should be made by bicycle. But we need to see that commitment backed up by investment, and that is quite simply not there yet. And I think Alison Johnson made a very good point around that. So we need to see investment, but we also need to see the detail being the government getting the detail right as well. And I was very pleased to sign the motion protesting against the decreasing places on trains for cyclists. And I would encourage my fellow parliamentarians to sign that motion as well, because we need to make cycling possible. We need to get the detail right so that people can cycle. But we also need to have genuine leadership, and I think we can all be very proud of this city. It is fantastic that this Labour-led council over the last 5 years has met that 10% budget commitment to cycling. That we've seen the big increases in cycling infrastructure, we've seen the increase in the number of segregated cycle lanes, and the rollout of the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit across our streets and roads in the city, I think will make a huge difference to to cyclists and to pedestrians across this city. So I think we can be proud of this city. I think we should be seeking to make sure that it's those sorts of initiatives that get brought forward nationally by the Scottish Government, so that everyone in every city, every town can enjoy the benefits that we see from the actions and initiatives that have been taken in this city. But finally, I would just like to say thank you to all of you, because this is a fantastic event. This is the best sort of politics. Raising important issues in a fun way. You know, one of the things I always enjoy is the number of conversations and the people that you talk to. And so thank you very much for putting cycling on the agenda, taking part today, and let's keep going, because I think we can really change the way our whole city works, the way our whole country works when it comes to transport, and making cycling better and easier and the norm for the way that people get about our cities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Long before I was a politician, however, I was a cyclist. I can't remember when I was first on a bike. My parents had me out as a child on a bike, right from beyond I can even remember it. And it's great to be a cyclist, isn't it? Thank you. I and my party are very supportive of cycling, and when I was a student at a European university over 20 years ago now, it was great. It was an old city like Edinburgh, but they had dedicated cycling lanes and cycling light systems, everything. I could cycle 3 miles from my student digs into the university and never have to go on a road because there were cycle paths all the way. So in Scotland we still have some way to go, but a lot of work has been done. We have some really great cycling routes. I was cycling off to Aberdare from Edinburgh a few weeks back, so it's a great improvement from where we were at. A lot of work to be done, but we're getting there. So thank you to all of you for coming today, for supporting this, and keep going, keep cycling. And I think we're now handing over to people who ride on tandems, which I've also done on at least 1 or 2 occasions, but I'll hand back to our man in charge here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have Mike Young from Talking Tandems.
Hello, thank you very much. You might be glad to hear I'm not a politician. So I'm a blind cyclist. I'm a member of Talking Tandems. It's a small charity based in Fife, and with practically only about 40 members. And it gives me an opportunity to get out and do cycling. Just to give you a bit of a backstory about Talking Tandems, we've been going about 9 years. What they do is they have 10 tandems, so they own their own tandems, and we have volunteer pilots. Now, to explain what a pilot is, it's a volunteer that sits in the front. If you've had a look at any of our tandems, you'll probably see all the controls up the front. The pilot's the one that's in control of all the cycling. All I do at the back is pedal, and I'm quite happy with that. But it's an opportunity for me to actually get out and experience Scotland, both towns and country. It's a fabulous way for people such as myself to get a bit of inclusivity into general sports. I'm sure you can appreciate for somebody without any sight or with very little sight, it's actually quite difficult to get included in sort of hobbies and mainstream activities. So Talking Tandems has been a fantastic opportunity for me to get out and enjoy cycling, much like you guys do. The reason we're here today is to remind everybody that actually cycling takes quite a lot of different forms. So obviously we have our tandems here today. I know there's been other adaptive bikes here today as well, and it's a great thing to see. We really enjoy what we do, the cycling that we get the chance to do. But it's also, it takes a little bit of extra thought to be able to actually get out and do that cycling. I'm sure those of you that have cycled past chicanes today will have wiggled through on your solo bikes. For us, we get off and walk around them. Those sort of things are little nuisances. So when it comes to the infrastructure for cycling, it's something that we would really love to see more thought given to, and maybe even a little bit more funding to as well. If any of you, would fancy having a shot in a tandem, we're a nice bunch. You're very welcome to come say hello and have a go in a tandem. We encourage that sort of thing. We're always looking for volunteers. We're also looking to spread the word about Talking Tandems, because as I say, we're a fairly small charity, and we would like to include more blind and partially sighted people into the group as well. So please do spread the word if you get the opportunity to do that. I think I've probably said enough for now. I'm going to hand over to Louise, who's another one of our stokers, one of the people in the back, and thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm not actually very good at public speaking. I haven't prepared anything because I didn't know I was doing it until the start of the match. So I'm one of the stokers for Talking Tandems, and Mike's just explained what a stoker is. We're the ones that sit at the back. I'm also a blind cyclist, and I probably started maybe about 6 years ago. When I first started, I really actually just got into cycling to try and keep fit, because I was walking up this hill in the high street and I found I had to stop for breath at the top of the hill, and I thought, nah, that's not good.